Why do you live in your car? This is probably the question that I get asked the most often, and for good reason. But I feel like I have too much to say to just put it in a little comment response, so you get a whole YouTube video about it. If we haven't met yet, hey, my name is Alana and I live in my 2006 Honda Accord. If you're curious how that's possible, I will link my car tour in the cards here. But if you're curious why, 2 reasons. China and YouTube. Let me explain. So I originally bought this car right after I graduated from university. My high school car had gone kaput, wouldn't turn on, and so I needed a new car that was reliable and would help get me around in May of 2020 when the world was crazy, to say the least. So when I bought the car, I had no intentions of actually living in it. I just wanted something good and reliable, which, shout out, that she is. So after I graduated, I got this car, I moved into an apartment by myself, and I was working 3 jobs. I was a yoga teacher at my local gym, I taught English on Cambly, which I still do to this day, and I was also teaching English to kids in China through an online platform. Now this is where China is part of the reason. So I worked for this company for I think 9 or 10 months, and I did this job with 2 different companies for a total of a year. So I worked with Chinese kids for a long time in retrospect. I don't know how I did it. You had to wake up at 3 a.m. because of the time difference with China and be all animated and oh my god. Ugh. Anyways, that's how I was paying rent. And all of a sudden I got an email, September of 2021, that was like, hey, by the way, our company has to close, so good luck and find a new job. Basically trying to pass some law that limits tutoring with kids in China. And part of that law was foreign teachers outside of China could no longer teach kids who were in China, even if it was for a foreign language. I know, it doesn't make sense, but it was China's law. And so when that happened, I could either find another job, keep my apartment, and keep working 3 jobs to make do, or I could take this as a sign to leave my apartment, not renew my lease, because this coincided with the same time that my lease ended, luckily. And so I said, you know what? I have to take this opportunity and do the thing that I had always wanted to do, which was go either be an English teacher or a yoga teacher abroad in another country. That's what I was planning to do all of university. But then the pandemic kind of ruined that one for me. And so here I was, presented on a golden platter the opportunity to go teach yoga in Panama in November of 2021, when my job expired, when my lease expired. And so I took it, obviously. And the only things that I kept were 5 boxes of my personal sentimental belongings at my grandmother's house and my car. I was able to keep my car at my grandma's friend's garage. He used to be a mechanic, so he has lots of garage space, which is also really lucky. And I basically gave my grandma the key and I signed the title to my car, and I said, okay, if I don't come back in a year, because I had no idea how long I was going to be abroad. I had this vision in my mind that I was going to be gone for years. And so I told my grandma, if I don't come back within a year, yeah, we can talk about selling the car. Fast forward a few months, I realized, ooh, maybe I don't want to work in the hotel business abroad. Kid you not, only 4 months after I had packed up all of my belongings and everything. But a part of the story that I forgot to mention was before moving out of my apartment, I actually took a 1 weekend trip car camping in Arizona. And I made a YouTube video about it. And this was back when I was just doing random stuff with my YouTube. I didn't know what I was doing, if I was a yoga teacher, if I was a vlogger, I didn't know, but I just knew I wanted to make videos. And so I made this video of me camping on Mount Graham in Arizona, and I posted it, thought nothing of it. I was like, cool, that was a fun weekend. Fast forward to this point where I realize I don't like the dream that I had had for years, and I come back to the United States, and the only thing I have to my name are 5 boxes and a car. And when I check my YouTube channel, as you do with the analytics page, I see that the video about me camping in my car from a few months ago is now my most viewed video on YouTube. Granted, it was only a few thousand views because it's still not a big channel, but that video had way more views than my average video that was getting less than 50 views. And so that kind of gave me the idea of like, well, why don't I just move into my car full time and make videos about it and see how it does on the internet? And when I told my family that I was going to drive from Arizona to Texas and camp in my car along the way, my grandma literally told me, no, I will get you a hotel room, don't do that. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And sure enough, the very first video that I posted about I'm moving into my car was then my next most viewed video. Still didn't get me anywhere. But that incentive from YouTube, I don't know if I would have ever moved into my car if it weren't for those videos. And now I have so much fun creating content about living in my car that I'm like, well, why would I stop, you know? I mean, I stopped last winter and went and worked a job in Nicaragua, even though I knew that I didn't want to work in the hotel business abroad. But if you want to learn more about that whole debacle of what happened in Nicaragua, be sure to check out my Patreon page because I share one extra behind the scenes video every single month, and July's video is the tea on that. But long story short, I live in my car because it allows me that freedom that I've always imagined of being this traveler. Even though I had envisioned myself being this international traveler, traveling in my car gives me that freedom, but I have my personal space still. Like, I have my own little bubble. I have everything I need in a box on wheels, I like to say. And that's very comforting to me, because when you're traveling abroad, like, you're relying on taxis, you're relying on the airplanes, you're constantly sleeping in different beds with different pillows, and you can't always have some of your favorite foods. And like, I feel like I have all of my comforts just in my little box on wheels. So I guess you could say the third reason that I live in my car is the freedom. But yeah, that's my whole life story and how and why I moved into my car. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to show me with your thumbs. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel. That really helps me out. And I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye guys.